Welcome back, I'm Jester of the Retro Stars. I'm playing through Ocarina of Time and analyzing it as we go. And I'm gonna be honest, the fact that the audio, the gameplay audio specifically, just stopped working halfway through the last episode left me pretty demoralized. I think it's thematically appropriate that I apparently have the most technological difficulties during the water temple, where I am also running around like a chicken with my head cut off, very confused about where I need to be going. So I was left a little demoralized. We've eaten a chicken sandwich, we're at a new recording session, and I think things should look better from here. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, Link and Sheik/Zelda's relationship, the way that they are continuing to interact on their quest. And we're also going to talk about the way that Link has to go about pursuing truth, as these next two temples have to do with different aspects of the pursuit of truth for Link's spiritual journey. And they both, I guess, they both mirror each other in interesting ways. So the Shadow Temple is going to be the dark and terrifying aspects of the pursuit of truth, while the Spirit Temple is going to be about the transcendent, mystical aspects of the pursuit of truth. Both are symbolized by darkness and light, respectively. And here we go. So we're talking to Ruto. She has become the next sage. So here we have another example of one of Link's primary relationships as a child being brought into the Chamber of Sages and therefore integrated into his understanding of the meaning of the universe. If we're thinking about the meaning of the universe as harmony and relationships of love, Ruto is being brought into that. Okay, so Link and Zelda. Link and Sheik, specifically. We have a moment here where we're standing on the shoreline here, on this island. And I love this moment because the water is coming back to Lake Hylia. The sun is rising, it's dawn. Dawn is breaking over the land. We can see this lovely little lens flare here. And Sheik's theme starts playing. And I love this moment because we've just gone through the harrowing experience of the water temple. Right, we can think of, similar to what I was talking about with Lord Jabu Jabu, we've entered the realm of primordial chaos and had a really harrowing experience there. We've been decreated, as it were, like Jonah in the belly of the fish. And we have come out again victorious. And now we're able to experience recreation of a more beautiful and peaceful and meaningful existence. So we're here together. There's this touching moment where Sheik is like looking at Link. He's not really focusing on what's going on, and then Sheik leaves. And you almost get the sense that Sheik is about to tell Link of her secret identity, but of course she doesn't. And then look at this. She just leaves in the most dramatic way possible. Leaping from the sky into the lake. We know that Sheik needs to keep her identity hidden because if Zelda were to reveal herself, Ganondorf would capture her here. But we see this like budding friendship, maybe even romance between the two. Okay, I'm going to do a thing to get the fire arrows. Anyway, I love this moment because it's like a peaceful balm and I guess a symbolic resurrection, as it were, after the harrowing experience of the water temple. And for me especially, I'm trying to feel more positive about things again after having experienced technical difficulties as I'm going through the water temple. Worst time to do that. It's fine. It's okay. Okay, so to get the fire arrows, this is a fun little moment. Again, participating in an idea of like re-enchantment. In order to get the fire arrows, Link shoots an arrow at the dawn, and what falls down is a flaming arrow on this little shrine island here that he can then go pick up. It feels like something out of folklore, and it's really cool. I like it a lot. Okay, we can see that Lake Hylia has been returned. What, Navi? I was trying to look. We can see that Lake Hylia has been returned to its proper fullness. We are healing the world. Life is returning to the desecrated land. So now we are going to make our way to Kakariko Village. And we're going to have another moment with Zelda. So a bunch of fun moments with Sheik/Zelda at this point in the game. It really does feel like their relationship is developing. And also we feel like they are finally beginning to act in synergy with each other. I talked about how one of the reasons Hyrule experiences a downfall, first of all, is Ganondorf's untrammeled lust for power. That's the main thing. But we also talked about Link and Zelda's spiritual imbalance in that they both emphasize the aspects of the Triforce that they are associated with. So Zelda only acts according to rationality, and that gets her into trouble. Link only acts according to thoughtless goodwill, and that gets him into trouble because he doesn't know how the world works. But now we're starting to see the two of them really starting to act in synergy to heal the wounds of the world. And I think they're both beginning to integrate the other aspects of the Triforce in the way that they're going about things. Zelda isn't just standing back and thinking about the problem and telling Link to do her bidding. She's actually going out there, exercising her own courage and her own power to try and bring about good, right? And Link seems to be growing in his wisdom and his power, obviously, right? He's getting more powerful as he's facing off against these chaotic, primal creatures of the dark. But he's also gaining wisdom as he keeps interacting with Sheik. Sheik is giving him the songs that'll help him warp around the world, but also reciting poetry at him that helps clarify the nature of his own growth into adulthood, but is also his own growth into a spiritually integrated human being. I'm going toward Kakariko Village. Where are we going? So yeah, so both are growing in their sense of balanced operations. They're also growing in their ability to work together really well. We'll continue to see that once we get to Kakariko Village. I'll fast forward real quick to get us there faster. All right, here we are. We are going to discover that Kakariko Village is not as we have last seen it. So there's a fire going on. We're immediately greeted with this eerie red light against the darkness. And we're like, okay, what's happening? What's going wrong here? Link steps back to observe, and then he sees Sheik by the well. He immediately, again, acting in accordance with mindless, thoughtless goodwill, comes over and is like, what's going on? I want to help. And then Sheik, of course, is like, get back. This thing is more powerful than you can imagine. And the well just explodes here. So we're like, what in the world is happening? This is not the nice pastoral Kakariko Village that we've come to know. And suddenly something comes out of the well, starts throwing Sheik around. I love that you can't even tell what it is at this point. Throws her on the ground. Link comes over. And it's this oozy purple sludge crawling across the walls. Link's immediate reaction is, oh, we gotta fight this thing. So he pulls out his sword. And this thing is so much more powerful at this point than he knows how to deal with. I wonder if he simply can't see what it is. So we get the Lens of Truth later, which we need to fight the boss of the Shadow Temple. So maybe he literally just can't see what the dark thing is. It is unclear what the thing is. It's in the well. Some people have said that it is the boss of the Shadow Temple, Bongo Bongo. Other possibilities are that it's just this thing that has been living in the bottom of the well, right? It's not really clear what the dark thing actually is. Okay, so now Sheik is talking about this evil spirit, and she's going to teach us the Nocturne of Shadow. And she's also telling us that Impa has gone to the Shadow Temple to try and seal it again. So I think there is a suggestion that the dark thing is Bongo Bongo. And as we'll see, we do need the lens of truth to actually see Bongo Bongo. So maybe that's what it is. It is weird, though, that it's at the bottom of the well, because that implies that the thing has always been there. We kind of talked about the significance of that when we were talking about the ice cavern, where the ice cavern is the result of the curse, right? Ganondorf's curse. Here, though, it's a bit different because the bottom of the well has always been here, I believe. There's always been this dark underbelly. Hold on. There's always been this dark underbelly to Kakariko Village. Which is, on some level, ironic. Because we've already talked about how Kakariko Village is an example of the idyllic life in Hylian culture that Link needs to protect. But maybe there's more to that life than what we've seen so far. Okay, learned the Nocturne of Shadow. And then, again, Sheik is being really proactive here. So Sheik is like, I'm gonna take care of the village. This is what I can do. She tells Link to go do what he can do. So they're working together really, really well. Okay, now we actually need to come back as a child. All right. So what does the Nocturne of Shadow represent? Up to this point, the songs have represented particular relationships in Link's life. The Minuet of Forest recalls him to the memories of past beauty that can help bolster him against present suffering. So it reminds him of his friendship with Saria, specifically, and his home, quote-unquote home, in which he grew up. That's Kokiri Forest. The Bolero of Fire is all about the strength of friendship, especially a friendship forged in adversity. The Serenade of Water is about the movement toward mature romantic love. The Nocturne of Shadow is all about darkness and evil, apparently. Sheik talks about the... I didn't read the dialogue. Again, trying to talk while also being visually impaired. So if I'm wrong, I will do a correction here. But Sheik talks about the need to face, like, the infinite darkness of things. So what does this represent? And here we're going to learn another song, which is in stark contrast to the Nocturne of Shadow, but I think is also thematically resonant with it. Okay, so the Nocturne of Shadow, facing the darkness. I think the metaphors of shadow and light in Ocarina of Time are both about the pursuit of truth. But when we're talking about facing the darkness, we're talking about being able to see the aspects of reality that are painful and evil and, you know, ugly, I suppose. They're about facing the aspects of reality that we would rather ignore, that many people would rather ignore, at least. We can see this in the fact that the well has always existed over Kakariko Village. You go to Kakariko Village for the first time and you think that it is this perfect, pleasant, in a lot of ways very lighthearted existence. But it's hiding the fact that there is pain and suffering and death and decay literally in its dark underbelly. Here we're going to see later that the history of the Hyrulean royal family is also quite dark. So even though in the narrative the Hyrulean royal family is a very positive symbol, symbolizing kingship as we've talked about, there is also a negative history here where the Hyrulean royal family has been guilty of profound violence and injustice. So when we're thinking about Link healing the world, which is his goal, bringing re-enchantment to the world, bringing harmony, returning love and meaning, he has to be able to face the darkness and the evil. He has to actually understand the wound. Like, he has to be able to see the wounds of the world in order to heal them. So that, I think, is the major theme of what's going on in the Shadow Temple. Okay, we've learned the Prelude of Light, and we have put the Master Sword back in the pedestal, and now we're a child again. Like I talked about before, the Master Sword is this nexus between moments in time, where Link can re-enter time, in a new way and enter into a different relationship to time than he would otherwise. So even as he... Oh, it's nighttime. Okay, I'm going to... You know what? This is fun. At night, Castletown is just full of dogs. There are just so many dogs. And also this couple. There's all the dogs. So what we're going to do... We're gonna just pop out here real quick. Play the Sun Song, turn it to daytime. The reason that I can't leave Castletown at night is because the drawbridge has been pulled up, of course. And time doesn't pass when you're inside a town like this. Alright. I can't help but feel like... Imagine... Okay. Imagine Link's emotional state here, where he has gone to sleep for 7 years. He's come back to see the absolutely desecrated land of Hyrule, and then he can just go back in time, and everything's back to normal. I feel like it would feel so uncanny. Like, it would fill you with a clammy sense of everything just being wrong. I get that sense from resetting time in Majora's Mask, especially the first time you do it, when Tattle is like, what's going on? Everything is back to normal. This is so weird. This, I think, feels like a similar thing. Oh, while I'm here, I will also talk to the cursed spider family and get my adult wallet finally, which I've been talking about doing for quite some time. Anyway, I should also probably talk about the Prelude of Light as well. Again, I didn't read the specific poetry that Sheik was mentioning with it, so if I have any thoughts on that, I will add them in the editing process. But I think the fact that we're calling it a prelude is really interesting, because we're saying that that's our starting point, right? Prelude is the beginning. So here's the the cursed family. They've all been turned into these weird, horrible spider monsters. And when you collect the gold skulltulas, you can turn them back into human beings. So this guy has been turned back into human beings because we have 10 gold skulltulas. Yeah, he's been turned back into multiple human beings. Nailed it. I'm good at English. Okay, here's our adult's wallet, and now we can actually get more money. Hooray. Anyway, we're saying that we are starting from a standpoint of light, and therefore a standpoint of, I would say, truth and hope, perhaps? And also on a literal sense, right? The crux of Link's story really does start at the Temple of Time. It starts once he enters the Sacred Realm, once he fails. Okay, here we are. I love that the windmill is just question mark. We need to play the Song of Storms. Okay, yeah, so, beginning at the Temple of Time. The beginning of Link's quest starts with desire for truth and hope in future redemption. So Prelude of Light and Nocturne of Shadow go together, right? They're both about truth. But Nocturne of Shadow requires the necessity of facing the darker, more terrifying, more ugly aspects of reality in order to bring healing to it. On a Christian understanding, you can't have Easter Sunday without Good Friday, right? Like, there is a need for the acknowledgement of Christ's death and suffering before there's the joy in the resurrection. So that the both, like the whole 3-day cycle of Easter is important on a more liturgical understanding. All right, so now we're going into the bottom of the well. I'll say a couple words about Song of Storms as well, because I think I think all of the songs in Ocarina of Time do something interesting symbolically. Song of Storms. I talked before when I actually learned it. Oh wow, it's dark in here. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my light real quick. Once again, working on a really old CRT. Maybe not really old. I think I looked at it and saw that this is from the 90s, so 25 to 30 years old, I guess. I guess that's pretty old. Anyway, it's dimmer than one would perhaps hope. Turn around, please. This guy feels bigger than the others as a child, I think. I don't know. Okay, Song of Storms. When I first learned it, I talked about how it feels like a revelry in the sublime. Because it's all about, like, it gives the feeling of walking outside and dancing in a storm, right? Here we go. Yeah, if you know where to go on this, you can get by here pretty quick. Let's play Zelda's Lullaby again. And this will drain the water level so we can get greater access to the cistern. Yeah, so revelry in the sublime. I wonder if this... Actually, I need to think about this. On some level, I wonder if... Where am I going? Is it back toward the beginning? I think it's back toward the beginning. Okay, let's go back this way. Also, there's like these gross torture devices here. Torture machines. They're torture machines. Okay, Song of Storms. I wonder if it can also fit with the meaning that I'm talking about between Nocturne of Shadow and Prelude of Light. Because while Song of Storms is not about a reveling in darkness, it is about reveling in a reality that's greater, like that's greater than yourself. That's more powerful, that's grander, that makes you feel really small. So that also could be part of the pursuit of truth, right? If truth is only as big as your own mind and your own perception of things, then you're probably not encountering truth. You're probably just encountering your own mind and what you want to believe about things. So the pursuit of truth requires, on some level, a giving up of the ego. Okay, this mini-boss is terrifying. Oh, don't you dare. There we go. Come down here. Oh, no. Okay, so this is Dead Hand. He's gross, and I am really shocked that this is in an E-rated game. Again, it's horrifying that this thing just lives underneath Kakariko Village. It might be the case that... Okay, I'm questioning my analysis here, because... Can you... Oh, goodness. Come here. It, oh no, oh no. Yikes. Oh no, okay. Okay. Because I mentioned that the thing that sets the bottom of the well apart from the ice cavern is that the bottom of the well has always been here. But I guess it is slightly unclear as to whether or not the bottom of the well has been full of monsters like this. It kind of feels to me like it has, but I'm saying that more on a vibes level than anything. Okay. We have succeeded. Oh man, I hope that the audio continues to work. I'm really now just paranoid. It's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. I just won't save, I suppose. And if I have to refilm this, then I will. Which is very sad to me. Alright, Lens of Truth. This is a Sheikah item. And this item is specifically associated with the Shadow Temple, which is also associated with the Sheikah. Okay, wow, it's really, really dark. This going back to our theme of the pursuit of truth. Hey, buddy. This allows us to see the truth of things that otherwise has remained hidden. So we can see hidden walls, we can see hidden doorways, we can see hidden enemies, and we're going to be able to see the boss, Bongo Bongo. Wait, what's in here? Oh, just bombs. Okay. Don't really need that, but that's fine. Okay, now we can... wait. So... don't really need to do this, but... there we go. There's the empty... wait. No, we don't need to go that way. Wrong way. Whee! Oh no, I thought I could just go around him. Guess these are adult-sized Skulltulas and then there's child-sized Skulltulas, because when you face these inside the Deku Tree, they're a lot smaller. I guess that would make sense. I just hadn't really thought about it or noticed it before. Okay, Lens of Truth. It allows us to see the hidden darkness of things, and therefore face them and heal the world. Here's a more positive... wow, I can't see it all. Old CRT. Oh, okay, you just go out that way. Let's go back to the Temple of Time. I also love that the Prelude of Light is only the highest notes. It makes sense. The same notes that you use for Zelda's Lullaby, although arranged in a different way. Okay, this is a more positive way of viewing the Sheikah. I've talked about how the Sheikah represent Zelda's tendency toward fear-based hyperthinking because they're all about esoteric knowledge and therefore control. They act in the background of Hyrulean history and allow the Hyrulean royal family to stay in power. So they're like the Secret Service, right? So there's a sense in which their pursuit of truth is dangerous and dark and used for potentially nefarious purposes. Here, we're seeing the good in that, but also the bad in that, right? So there's a lack of balance. Link does need to be able to face the dark things of... oh, well, let me just play the Nocturne of Shadow, actually. Wait. There we go. I can never just remember this one. Link does need to face the dark aspects of reality, but not to silently and covertly control things. He needs to be able to face the dark aspects of reality to bring healing, to bring meaning, to bring purpose to them. In that sense, the Prelude of Light is necessary. It is like a necessary component and a necessary, not counteraction, but a necessary addition to what the Sheikah represent. All right, the only time in the game when you technically need to use this spell. So let us enter the Shadow Temple. All right, I think that's a good place to stop today. We've talked about the pursuit of truth and how it can be scary and how it can destabilize Link's complacent comfort with an apparently idyllic existence because there is hidden pain and suffering that needs to be dealt with. Okay, speaking of hidden pain and suffering, I am so hoping my audio actually worked this time. We shall see. If all goes well, next time we will make our way through the Shadow Temple and we'll talk about the sacred that the Shadow Temple represents and how the Shadow Temple in some ways explores an idea that in some respects the profane can be presented as sacred. So until next time.